The United States fought across Europe, across the Pacific, across continents and oceans. But few people realized that in 1942, the war came frighteningly close to home. So close that shells landed on American sand. This is the story of how a lone Japanese submarine slipped past U.S. defenses, crept toward the Oregon coastline, and opened fire on an unsuspecting American fort. June 1942. The Pacific is on fire. Japan is striking everywhere: Midway, Alaska, the Philippines. But one submarine, I-25, gets a special mission. Sail to the American mainland. Find a target. And attack it. The goal wasn't to destroy a city. It was psychological. Japan wanted to prove to Americans that they weren't safe, that the war could reach them at home. I-25 travels thousands of miles across the Pacific, undetected. And when it approaches the U.S. coast, the crew spots something. A dark silhouette. A perfect target. Fort Stevens. It's 11:30 p.m. The fort's soldiers are sleeping. Coastal Oregon is calm, quiet, peaceful. And then, the first shell streaks across the sky. Boom, boom, boom. Explosions ripple across the beach. Windows shake. Sand erupts. Warning sirens scream through the night. At first, the soldiers think it's training, or maybe an accident. Then the truth hits. America is under attack. As shells land near their guns, the soldiers sprint to their posts. They prepare to fire back at the submarine. But then, they get the most unexpected order of the entire war. Do not fire. Why? Because the fort's artillery was old. Some of the guns dated back to the early 1900s. If they fired, the flashes would reveal their exact positions to the submarine, and the Japanese would destroy the fort with pinpoint accuracy. So the men just watched, waited, listened as enemy shells crashed around them. One soldier later said, "The hardest part wasn't the explosions. It was knowing we couldn't shoot back." The Japanese submarine fired 17 shells. But here's the twist. I-25 was operating with almost no visibility. It was nighttime. The coastline was dark, and the captain had no idea where the fort's gun batteries actually were. Most shells landed harmlessly in sand dunes and marshland. One demolished a baseball field. Another blew up part of a cable line. But none hit the fort's guns. None caused a single American death. The attack made noise, but not real damage. Still, it proved something terrifying. Japan could strike the U.S. mainland. The next morning, crowds gather along the Oregon coast. Soldiers point to craters, scattered metal fragments, pieces of exploded shells. People suddenly realize, the war isn't just over there. It's here, at home. Within 48 hours, blackouts are ordered. Aircraft patrols increase. Submarine hunting missions sweep the coastline. Civilians panic by radios, flashlights, weapons. The attack on Fort Stevens becomes headline news across the nation. But Japan isn't done. I-25 returns 2 months later and launches the only aerial bombing of the continental United States, using a tiny seaplane carried on its deck. Once again, America is shocked. Today, Fort Stevens is a historic park. Visitors walk where explosions once landed. Kids play baseball where a Japanese shell struck the field in 1942. It's quiet now, peaceful, calm. But on that night, for just a few minutes, the American mainland became a battlefield. The attack didn't change the outcome of the war. It didn't destroy the fort. It didn't break American morale. But it proved something unforgettable. Even oceans can't guarantee safety. War has no boundaries. And sometimes, history's most shocking moments happen in your own backyard.